Okay, so how do we set this up? Let's go to Tools, head down to the Solver, and we are going to, of course, that would be in a different place if you're using LibreOffice or working on a PC, but be sure to find your Solver window. If you don't have the Solver, you can simply install it straight from within Excel. So remember that you have these three components, the goal. You can see here it's represented in the solver window where it says set objective. We have the decisions, and that's represented here where it says by changing variable cells. And then the constraints that we talked about. And we're going to put those constraints in this little box down here where it says subject to the constraints. So let's start off with the objective. Remember, our objective was to maximize the ROI. And we had our ROI represented over here in cell D2. Remember, it was just right over here. So I just click on set objective, click the cell, and I'm gonna choose to maximize that. I can also choose to minimize it here too. So, but we want to maximize our ROI. By changing variable cells, here's our decisions, and remember we discussed what our decisions were. Our decisions were to how much money we should invest in each channel, which is represented in cells C2 through C5. And then subject to the constraints, we're going to enter these. So by the way, I have them already entered in this window, but let me just delete them to show you what to do. You press this button here and select those columns, press enter, and then you're all done. You've got it entered in there. I don't know why it automatically puts dollar signs for these, but it does, and you can't change it, so just don't worry about it. And then we need to put in our constraints. So to add in those constraints, we'll just click the add button, and we will go over here to our cell H3. And remember, in cell H3, we simply had the sum of these, C2 through C5. Those should add up to be less than or equal to $1 million. 100,000. We'll add that constraint in. We want to add in the constraint, the boss's orders, that SEO and AdWords need to be at least 60% of the budget. So that cell we want to be greater than or equal to $600,000. So 600,000. Add that constraint in. Move the window. Boss's orders, Facebook can be no more than 20%. So we want to say the Facebook channel can be no more than $200,000. 200,000. Add that constraint in. And then the television is going to be at minimum 200 grand. So we just say the TV ad is going to be greater than or equal to 200,000. Add. And similarly, we do the same thing with Facebook again. So it's going to be at least $80,000. 80,000. And SEO agency is going to be greater than or equal to, and remember our constraint over here was it's going to be greater than or equal to 60 grand. Or it could also be less than or equal to 220 grand. Less than or equal to 220,000. And then the minimum contract with AdWords is going to be can't be any more than 3 times the SEO. So that means the minimum contract with the AdWords. So this is going to be greater than or equal to, because it's a minimum, greater than or equal to 3 times the SEO. And click add. And then remember, we want to allocate money so that our reach is within our market size. And so we click that sum product that we have in cell H11, and we make sure that we set that, I believe, less than or equal to 1.3 million people. So put that as 1.3 million people will actually just put cell F20. Whoops, I actually messed that up. Let me delete that. It's a problem here. You gotta be very careful when you do this. You don't wanna get a result that is completely wrong because you weren't careful. So less than or equal to, now click over here, 1.3 million people, click OK. And now all of those constraints should be added into the solver window. Oh, I actually found a mistake here. So I had H3 set to $100,000 instead of $1 million. So let's change that. And I'll put in the extra 0 to make that $1 million and add it and click cancel. And now I should have them all here properly represented and everything should be ready to go. So click solve and see what happens. Alright, so we get this window that pops up. Solver could not find a feasible solution, although it actually did. I'm not sure why it's popping up like that on my computer. Let's go ahead and click OK. We'll keep the solver solution. And we're going to go over here so we can actually see that it came up with this number for our total ROI, 73,333, which doesn't sound like a lot of money that you're making off of $1 million budget, but of course remember this is all it's very much based on estimates, and it's not a real example. Actually, it's a fictional example, and it's telling us to invest all of this amount of money for each channel. Now, the reason that I know that my solver found a feasible solution, by the way, I get all sorts of errors with solver. In fact, while I made this video, I got an error and had to spend several minutes trying to figure out what was going on, and then mostly figured it out and got the right answer. But the reason I know is because I got this example off of a website from Marketing Distillery, and you can actually see that it came up with the same solution. It goes over how to do, this example goes over how to do the exact same problem using R instead of Excel. But Excel is actually pretty good at this type of problem. So the reason I know that it got the right answer is because here they have everything divided by 1,000 and they got the answer 73,333 as well, with the same output that we got in our Excel file.